Alright people, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll know when I upload the next video and you'll be supporting my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I upload a new video, I'll be tweeting. Ladies and gents, welcome to Reacts, and this is Miscellaneous Myths, The Wrath of Demeter by the channel Only Sarcastic Production. Yes, another Miscellaneous Myths after a long time. I love Miscellaneous Myths series from this channel, Only Sarcastic Production. It's just best thing ever, especially the Greek ones, right? Zeus is somehow always involved, rapey guy, I guess. His time of Me Too movement, I guess, right? If Zeus was around, his image would be like what? Who's that guy? I forgot his name. Bill Cosby, right? Bill Cosby of Greek world is Zeus. So yeah, everyone knows about environmental responsibility and saving the earth. But maybe some people should be more worried about saving themselves from the earth. Today let's talk about King Eristhon and his absolutely horrifying divine punishment. Every story about upsetting Demeter eventually works its way to the conclusion: never piss off the person in charge of your food. And really, I think that's the most timeless moral there is. Alright, Demeter, right? Persephone's mother, right? I remember from Hades and Persephone video. I guess the season thing also kind of works because she's sad and whatever that was. Right? So yeah, person in charge of food. Somebody's gonna, piss off Demeter. Alright. Remember, if you like my reacts, don't forget to subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. Check out the reacts and there's a link in the season. Check out the cards, check out the ink cards, and yeah, let's watch it.
There are a lot of stories with environmental messages. There's been a bit of an uptick since the advent of man-made climate change gave us a whole new form of species-wide guilt to sublimate through storytelling, but the concept of man versus nature is a tale as old as time, and the moral element of nature good or at least not to be messed with is just as old. Modern environmental narratives tend to focus more on how important it is to protect nature and how terrible it is to harm it on a widespread scale, but a lot of those stories are grounded in more modern concepts like nuclear damage or anthropogenic climate change. Sometimes harming nature is its own punishment, and a world critically damaged by foolhardy humans becomes deeply unpleasant for those humans and their descendants to live in. In some other stories, nature takes—
It's not just something or some cultural thing that is famous. It's literally one of the Fermi paradox filters, great filters, right? Civilization rise up, and they rise up at the point that they destroy their own planet by pollution and kill themselves, basically. And the cycle repeats. It's one of the great filters, let's just say. It's one of the theories out there about Fermi paradox. So I guess it's surprising to see how it's one of the oldest things that people think of, like even nowadays with the industrial revolution and all the technologies, it's understandable we think like that. But in the olden times, people used to think that, humans destroying the nature and in the end nature screwing themselves. The concept at that time is surprising, like how did they come around to think that? Right, are not divine intervention, right, pissing off gods, but still, thinking of that concept at that time is surprising. Nowadays, with the power humans have to destroy things, destroy the major scale, it's understandable we think like that today.
A slightly more active role in defending itself, or failing that, avenging itself. Whatever the flavor, the general consensus is that it's never wise to pick a fight with the biosphere you live in, since no matter who wins, you eventually lose. And you'll be happy to know that this general concept dates as far back as ancient Greece. So today, let's talk about a short—
It's basically like that saying we have here, like, cutting off the branch on that what you're sitting on, right? I don't know how to say that in English, but it's the saying, like, why you cutting off the branch that you're sitting on? That's just stupid.
And ridiculously unnerving tale of what exactly the Wrath of Demeter looks like. Now this story, like many others, is recounted in Ovid's Metamorphoses, and it begins, like so many do, with a king. The protagonist of our story is King Eristhon, and he's kicking things off with a bang by clear-cutting Demeter's sacred grove. The reason behind this questionable choice is never explained, not that it would help, because this grove is like mondo sacred. It's where all the dryads like to hang out and party, and it's like deep wilderness. At the heart of the grove is a massive ancient oak tree covered in garlands and prayer tablets and a big flag flashing neon sign that says "Do not kill." Erysichthon's workers aren't exactly jazzed about the thought of knocking it down, so Erysichthon grabs an axe and forges in to do it himself, and further paints a target on his back by loudly declaring that not only is he going to cut down this tree, he'd do the same thing even if that tree was Demeter herself. At the first strike,
Yeah, I guess it's just a simple case of king basically going over his head. Like, I'm king, I'm the... Every time an emperor or king basically goes way too high, he usually tries to replace the god, image of God among people, replace it with himself, right? People say Hitler was atheist because, that's atheists are kind of like that, immoral. But no, that's not the case. Hitler was atheist because he didn't want competition. He wanted himself to be godlike. Same thing with the dictator. So king has the same mentality, like, I'm the king. Demeter who? Demeter who? I'm going to cut off the tree. I'm better than Demeter. I'm the god. That kind of mentality. Maybe that was the case, why he did that.
of the axe, the tree starts bleeding, which Erysichthon takes as a great sign and keeps chopping. Right before the tree gives up the ghost, it speaks and tells the assembled mortals that it is in fact a dryad, beloved by Demeter herself, and Erysichthon's ass is proverbially grass. The tree dies, the people move on, and the dryads, who saw the whole thing, book it to Demeter to fill her in. Now, Demeter's none too pleased about the loss of her sacred grove and her favorite dryads.
Interesting. What shall I do? What kind of a unspeakable, inhumane punishment I should give that asshole? That's what this, passive aggressive anger, that's what I'm saying.
So she spends some time mulling over what exactly to do to this idiot and settles on a particularly unsettling plan. She sends a nymph up to the frozen, barren wastelands of northern Scythia to transmit a message to Lemos, the goddess of starvation, whose nature is so antithetical to Demeter that they literally physically can't get near each other. The nymph quickly tells Lemos that Demeter's asked her to inflict a curse on King Erysichthon, and then the nymph books it before Lemos's divine vibes can starve her skeletal. Lemos is always down for a little mischief, so she heads over to Erysichthon's palace, slips in at night, and super casually inflicts him with the curse of eternal hunger. Then she heads home to put on the new season of Bake Off while Erysichthon dreams of magnificent feasts and wakes up absolutely ravenous. Now, as king, Erysichthon has plenty of access to delicious foods of all varieties, but no matter how much he eats, he's never satisfied, and in fact just gets more hungry the more he consumes. In desperation to buy more and more food, he ends up draining his treasury and selling off his possessions. He even ends up selling his daughter Mestra, who's none too pleased about her new situation and calls in a favor from Poseidon as payback for him deflowering her back in the day, which, as we all know by now, happened with alarming frequency. And Poseidon evidently feels real bad about this one because he grants her the power of full-on shapeshifting, which she uses to escape. Erysichthon sees this.
Yeah, Poseidon is the latest, in the today's world. But there are people, basically rich people, who does unspeakable things and just pay the people off, right? Like how Donald Trump did the prostitute thing, paid her off, whatever, right? So that's the equivalent of with Poseidon. Poseidon always literally screws people over and just give them some power or something, make them some kind of a hero demigod type, people. It's just like, oh, look at that, yeah, I paid you off, that kind of mentality.
This is a golden opportunity and the power of full-on shapeshifting, which she uses to escape. Erysichthon sees this as a golden opportunity and makes a pretty solid racket out of selling his daughter over and over again while she uses her shapeshifting to escape every time. But of course, this does nothing to help with the actual curse, and eventually Erysichthon is so overwhelmed with his ravenous hunger that he just fully eats himself alive. Practical takeaway from this whole debacle? Hell if I know, but this is definitely the anecdote Demeter likes to tell when Hades comes over for family dinner and game night. I see trees.
Oh my god, that is just fucked up. Even his daughter is like, holy shit, this is bad. So she just goes along with it. Like, first of all, he sold her to, somebody just for some money so he can eat food, right? She just got sold by, she would be pissed, right? She would be pissed, but she realized how fucked up situation his father is. And after getting the power of substitution, she still does that to help him out. That is just, I guess, commendable as it goes. I love that Lemos and Demeter are bros. How many gods have such a healthy working relationship with them, especially in the Greek mythology, divine antithesis. Ovid doesn't explore her perspective, but like Mestra had to be a willing participant in the scam. Ovid, after that first one, right? She was a full-blown X-Men. It's not like Erysichthon could force her. Yeah. All things considered, very supportive of her to help out her. Yeah, seriously, that's what I just said. Like, yeah, it's not just being supportive, it's like taking a pity. Because he probably saw how fucked up his situation was. Want to use cherry pie for the ending, but okay. Yeah, this was a short but good one, right? I'm surprised, OSP is still doing small myths videos, because Hades and Persephone and all that was Loki 20-30 minutes video. Those were some epic ones, but those were big one. So I don't know, yeah. I hope she does some big Loki and Hades and Persephone type of videos, which is very detailed. Those were incredible. Alright, people, that was the Wrath of Demeter by the channel OSP. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, check out the reaction to this link in the description, check out the cards with the cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.